What up, y'all? So, based on my last video, I thought a good way to transition from that is to tell y'all the importance about confidence, right? Now, before I talked about confidence comes from trying things and failing, but I feel as though that was a bit too broad of a statement because I feel like there's more that goes into it. So, I want to touch on this a little bit. So, first and foremost, when it comes to confidence can be gained from a lot of different things, right? Let's say you were all state in basketball in high school, right? Now let's say you all state in basketball, you get out of high school, right? Let's say you don't go to college, but you start working. You're always going to carry yourself with a certain level of confidence because you know you accomplished something in life. Now, unless you go through something where, like, say you get a job in like software, something with software, right? That you're not too familiar with, you'll be unconfident about how well you could do with it. But you'll always know in the back of your mind that there's been things in life that you've done really well in. And with a lot of the problems I see with like men who are younger, right, is, let's put it like this. If you didn't play no sports when you grew up, let's say maybe you had one girlfriend or two girlfriends that you had for a long period of time when you was in high school and middle school. And then let's say you get out of school, you wasn't the top of your class, you didn't play band or anything like that. So really by the time you get to in your mid-20s, if you got heartbroken and shit like that, you don't really have anything to go off of to be confident about, right? And that's a legitimate problem. Let's say like you really didn't, like your identity stamp, you don't really have one, right? Like if you're a dude who loves going to the gym, right? Or let's say you've always been big on strength. If you go to the gym, you're doing really well and you're proud of how far you've come. You don't really have a confidence problem because, again, something in you has confidence, has developed confidence. And what I said about you gotta try things and fail, what I meant by that is this: like, you understand that not everything always works to your favor, but you can still do well in the long run, right? So like when I was in high school, I was good at football, right? But my team wasn't very good. And I mean, no matter how much you like playing the sport, if y'all are losing, it's not that fun to play. But you understand, sometimes circumstances just dictate itself. Like, I've been on winning football teams, I've been on losing football teams, predominantly losing football teams. But it's not something that's going to affect your confidence in yourself because you just understand that, you do your part and you do your part to the best of your ability. But now if you're an individual, you haven't played any sports and things like that, and then you get out into the real world and shit starts going left for you, well, all you know is this. You're not used to dips and highs. You're not used to the adversity that comes with growing confidence, because anyone who's confident in something failed at it before. 100%. You could talk to somebody who's great with women, right? Pretty boy. Even no matter how many females in his life have been very attracted to him, he's been rejected a number of times. So he understands failure. And what that does, that tells them in their mind, well, hey, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Some women are going to be head over heels about you. Some women aren't. And you bring that into different facets of life. Now, what my advice is to you guys is, if you're one of those people who didn't develop confidence at a young age in high school or, college and things like that, my advice to y'all is finding something to find your identity stamp. Whether that be hiking, working out, combat sports, finding a hobby, things like that. If you like building stuff, or I forgot what it's called when you like carve wood up, things like that. Just find something that you can develop, that you like, and that you can develop yourself in and have an identity from. Because what happens is, right, when you go out into the world, and I know I talk about relationships a lot in here, but just the world in general, when you go out and things go haywire, when you experience these dips, because a dip can, like if this is a linear line, this could be a dip that you go through, most of your life. That's what you experience. You'll come up a little bit and you'll come down a little bit, but there's never anything to. But when you take a hard dip, and hard dips happen, like life happens. If some shit go down and you just, let's say you get really sick, you lose a lot of money, right? And you getting back to it, but now you're in a hole that you gotta get yourself out of. It's hard to recover sometimes. I put you like this, like when I first came to Virginia, I had my appendix taken out. After having my appendix taken out, I missed work. My money had dried up from the Marine Corps, so I was in a fucked up position. So I had to figure things out for myself. So that's part of the reason, like when I was telling stories on here for me stealing food and shit like that, a lot of that derived from that, because I tried to use my credit card. My credit card didn't get here on time, and I just had to figure it out from there, and then going to school didn't help. So experiencing those dips, but the bright side of that is when I go through hard patches and stuff now, like I had recently in a year I got laid off my job. I got a new job now. But when I got laid off, I wasn't really tripping about it because I experienced some extreme dips before. It's more than just the one I just listed. So you just understand sometimes life plays out like that. You got it. So honestly, like I said, my advice to y'all, like when I was talking about with the whole thing with fighting, it's the same thing with the combat sports. If you go and do jiu-jitsu, boxing, taekwondo, whatever you want to do, you will get trashed at some point in time. I don't care how good you are. You can go in there and be a natural. I would consider myself a natural for grappling, just off of how I performed on a competition level once I started, even though I was newer to it. But I've gotten trashed by a bunch of times, right? It's a part of it. Same thing with like football. I was pretty good in football, but I've gotten trashed in football, right? It's just one of those things that happen. If you box, but the bright side is, even though you'll get trashed, sometimes, or I would say the more you do it, the majority of times, because there's when you get to a certain level, like at this point in time as a grappler, there's not not toot my own horn, but if someone who didn't grapple before, you might give me trouble if you're really strong or really athletic or something like that. But it's not going to be like, I'm not going to get trashed. It's not going to happen. So there's a certain level of grappler that you have to be to trash me. But in getting to that point, you start to experience different things. You start to understand that, sometimes it's your day, sometimes it's not. Sometimes different styles work differently against others. There's certain styles that I've gone against that, in theory, I'm not bad. I can handle it, but it fucks me up. I have to really sit back and think and calculate and time my moves right. So, just what I'm saying is confidence is something that you guys are all going to need. And then getting into, because I do talk about relationships on here. When it comes to relationships, I'm going to be honest with you. For dudes, trying to find confidence in the dating game, if you're not somebody who's very good with women, and if you're very good with women, like a lot of dudes who are very good with women, they just have, you're born with that. Like there's different types of charismas. I'm gonna have a video on that, but it really takes a certain type of individual to be able to attract women, and it takes a different type of individual to attract friends. I make friends very easily, if I decide to be friendly. I'm not bad with women. I'm definitely not, like, I know I have friends who are head and shoulders above me, but I'm not like terrible. But if you're somebody who has a hard time with all those charismas and you're trying to find confidence in the dating game, and when I mean confidence in the dating game is out for what I just said, trial and error, failing and things like that. You may go and try to say, well, if that's the case, I just need to fail a bunch of times with women and try from there. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. If you go out there and you fail 85% of the time, that's gonna just gonna shatter your confidence. And the thing is, it has nothing to do so much with your performance or how much effort you're putting into it. A lot of times, this happens to do with you just running across the wrong females. Or you're just not in a position where you can attract enough females, the way you would if you were to, lose weight or go to the gym or make more money or dress better, whatever the case may be. So what I would say to anyone who's having trouble in that aspect, but they want to grow so they have more confidence in themselves, because let me tell you something like this. If you don't have confidence, you're going to lose in life in general, but on the relationship aspect, you're not going to survive. Because the thing is, you got to understand, a lot of people, it's a flip. and how we interact with each other. When I say what I mean by flip is because of and I don't want to get too deep into it. Like I said, this is not a crying channel, but because of like feminism and things like that, there's a lot of females who are trying to wrap you around their finger. You're going to encounter them. You encounter a lot of them, right? So because of that, if you don't have the confidence to stand up for your fucking self, man, you're going to get in these relationships and these girls will be walking all over you. That's where the whole term happy wife, happy life came from. It's essentially being wrapped around her finger. That's essentially what it is. The motherfucker got weak. He didn't want to lose her. He doesn't have the confidence to go out and get some... And he doesn't have the confidence to think that he can get somebody better. So he just kisses her ass and yes dears, no dears to everything. Regardless of how you feel about it. And that's where, now you see this shit they talk about. No one cares about a man's happiness except for yada, yada, yada. And you should care about your happiness. Give a fuck about what she care about. You should care about your happiness. The only person that you should care about more than your happiness is maybe your kids. And even then, like, I personally felt you should still put your happiness first for the simple fact that you can only be you can only be a good father if you're in a mentally stable state. Because otherwise you're gonna beat on them or talk bad to them and things like that. When you're fucked up in the head, you can only be so good of a parent, in my opinion. So you have to have that kind of stability in yourself. So that comes from having your happiness. So, but you also have to have the confidence to say, hey, if this doesn't work out, I'll get somebody else. I'll give y'all a good example. Like, I had a friend who was trying to holler at a mutual friend. She was a female. And she was playing around, and then, she was on her bullshit. The way we act, right? I understood why. You know what I mean? I had an idea of why, but it confirmed it when she came back around us and she had a boyfriend. This time around, looking at bro and how he carried himself, I could see why she picked him. You see, the girl that I'm talking about that was a mutual friend of me and my homeboy, she's very aggressive. Like, you could talk to her and see that she's very aggressive. The way bro's carried himself, he's kind of like, he's bald. No offense to bald dudes, but he's bald, shorter, chunky dude. It's kind of like just... he's not weird, but he's definitely not like out there. If you hold a conversation with her and he's there, he's kind of like watching like a hawk, make sure like what y'all talking about. Like, you could kind of see it, and it made sense. It clicked to me. It's like, my homeboy my homeboy has more confidence to where you're not going to have him walking on eggshells around you, regardless. Not saying they would have been dating. I don't know if that would have been the case, but like, that's not how that shit go. I've had girls try shit like that with me. I'm not walking on eggshells for nothing, because in my mind, even if you're the best girl I ever had, you could be the finest one I've ever dated. If I got you, I feel like I get another one. Like, it only takes once. Now, once you do something once, you feel like you could do it a million other times. I did it once, I could do it one more time. So I'll never be in a mindset to where I'm scared to lose you. So it's like, that's what confidence builds. You know what I'm saying? So I will say go out there and try, but, definitely build your foundation of your personal life first. So, like, comment, subscribe, fuck with me. We lit.